You tell me, is this team better with Rasheed Wallace, Jimmy? Before he got there, the team was 34-22. Since then, they won 36 while dropping just 13 games. They were scoring almost 90 points a game with him, and opponents couldn't average 80.
Scored 18 points in 17 minutes. A lot of one-on-ones. Rodney Rogers. Good move to get. Three minutes gone by. Nets 0 for 5 from the field. Richard Jefferson tries to take it in his own hands. Lost it.
Getting the rebound.
The first change, Al, that I've seen already in the Lakers defense is Gary Payton is going to pressure Chauncey Billups.
Bryant with a lot of traffic as he goes through the lane and an offensive foul.
Three from the corner. Malone, he's going to pass that shot up again. Now Bryant. Bryant gets it back. Off balance.
Look at the traffic.
2-on-0 break. Automatic for Bill.
For Jack Neese, here's another look. Probably a good no call.
See how Miami fares here in game 3. They lead it now 55-51. Eddie Jones open for 3.
Razzing him about the terrible game he played, but make no mistake, down the stretch of games, he is the guy that they respect with the ball more than any other, Marv.
All right, David, here's Wade. Try to get it down low. Now the Pistons play it against Shaquille O'Neal here at the start. Every game he has gotten off quickly. You see single coverage. And then help as Rasheed Wallace came over, but Haslam able. Rebounded by Haslam.
Well, you can see what happened to that first possession, Marv. They fronted Shaquille O'Neal. Ben Wallace got in front of him, and Rasheed Wallace was ready to come over on the backside and give help.
David Jones.
Near the baseline. Normally money for him.
Oh, when you're the premier guy in the league, it's not a bad shot. There's that rotating defense. They fronted Duncan, they forced the lob, they came from the weak side.
And then let's take a look at the defense.
Just keep an eye right here. The basketballs here will be passed. They're going to front Duncan in the post. Now watch the offside defender come in here on the deflection. Now once the pass, they're fronting, and there he comes, and you get your deflection right to your rotator coming. That would have been a tough move for Duncan. You say, why are they fronting? Duncan has 4 field goals. The rest of the Spurs are 4 for 16. They're going to make it hard for Duncan to get the catch.
They're looking for O'Neal again.
To the Pistons sagging man-to-man off the ball.
Jack moving without the ball.
Now the Pistons are sagging and collapsing in the middle. But that's the first time the Lakers actually looked for Shaq in the low post in the last several minutes.
Lakers are going to set up. Enter for O'Neal. Working against two defenders and hits the turnaround.
Well, he drew a crowd. The Pistons into that sag defense, but it didn't matter. I mean, Shaq was determined to make the shot.
Phillips will come out for the Pistons with 2 fouls.
You see the Pistons defensively. Rasheed Wallace fronting Shaq, Ben Wallace behind him.
Kobe.
The Pistons within 1.
Remember, he hit 2 timely three-pointers in Game 2 to help bring Detroit back, but he's really struggled with that three-point shot throughout the season and the playoffs. But Hunter doing it now at both ends.
Lindsey Hunter going for the steal and could.
Lindsey Hunter is one of the best in the league at picking you. He will watch you, he'll chase you out, and then he's got those long arms. Question here is, was there any possession?
Leading Detroit in scoring, he has 7. Bryant, who earlier was shaking his right hand a little bit. Here's Fox. Payton will drive, softly puts it up. The Pistons are contending it was in the cylinder.
More involved right now.
Make those shots.
As Reggie Miller does for the Pacers. Here's Bender off the Pacers bench, and he knocks down a 3. Jonathan Bender.
Played 9 games and practiced only 4 times.
Which makes his start that much more remarkable. 4 for 4 from the field and a block defensively. So he looked very sharp out there.
Here is Wade.
Detroit played zone on that possession. You could see them talking. Nobody found Dwayne Wade.
But Rip Hamilton, again, calls that entire play. He is drawing so much attention now from the Lakers that he's going to get everyone else involved.
7.5 to go in the period. Bryant. Good fake on Hamilton, but starting 5 in all 18 playoff games. Bryant. Next year. O'Neal coming out high. And then Kobe. This is what
I had him a whole year, but he didn't put a uniform on.
That's what I meant, a few minutes.
I'm used to that.
Yes, you are. Here's Bryant. 7 lead changes, 9 ties, and Detroit with the biggest lead of 5.
That is in vogue.
That is very much in vogue. And I'll never forget as Bryant misses rip. Shaquille back to Kobe after he sets the screen. Ben Wallace gives Detroit its biggest lead of the game and then took Minnesota, the #1 seed in the West, out in 6 games. Lakers now down by 13, and Bryant starts to... Bryant would have been a 3. Malone. Kobe. 24 is at 6. In that same relative position because Detroit will, among other things, rest home court advantage. Bryant from way outside.
Any other injury.
So he sits down, and now Bryant is free, and Kobe puts it in the first game on the bench. He's been out since there were 3 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the opening period. Bryant is free. Yeah, Lakers lead by 4. Minute and a half to go. Bryant from way outside. Bryant, pressured by Prince, shoots over him.
That play, but look at him go up the floor.
Bryant for games 5, 6, and 7 if necessary. Bryant gets free from 3. Walton feeds it back to Bryant. 6 on the shot. Now 3. Kobe's going to get it off.
And what it is doing is looking at the score and not the clock on when to sub.
And Bryant is furious he didn't get a foul. Here's Bryant for the tie. O'Neal, Wallace. Now Shaq has to get it out to Malone looking for the 3. Here's Bryant, a pressured 3. That doesn't go. Here comes Kobe. Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Lakers trailed 89-83 with 36 seconds left. O'Neal, the 3-point play. Bryant had the 3. Kobe off the glass. 7 on the timer. Bryant. Out at the point. Malone gives it back to Bryant. And his first effort of the night isn't even close.
The Pistons want to see how well he can recover, how well he can move.
Bryant from O'Neal and missing. Affected by Prince, but O'Neal got it. Now Bryant, 4 on the shot clock from way outside.
And they're fouling. He's furious. Now give the Detroit Pistons some credit. They've contested all 3 of his shots thus far. But Kobe Bryant right now is frustrated because he wants the ball in his hands a couple more times. I mean, look at his body language right here. And then this one right here. He knows they're going the other way. And he's saying, get me the ball.
Bryant for 3. Kobe. Bryant.
Better. I thought in the first 2 days in L.A., he was really trying to force the issue.
Bryant misses. It is out here last night. Go back next Wednesday morning.
You know, this city, they are so fired up about this city.
Malone tried to get him into Shaq and then gets it back. Hits Bryant for the fadeaway. In and out.
For the Lakers early and offensive rebounds. The difference is in this game, the Lakers are scoring.
Here's Bryant.
Boy, that's a tough shot.
Against Tayshaun Prince. Now has it out beyond the arc. Takes him baseline. Pull up jumper and hits. Finally. This is second hoop of the game.
And he just forced that one-on-one against a pretty good defender in Tayshaun Prince.
Help off a shot. And that's why they brought him in, because Luke Walton will take a shot.
Terrible shot. Bryant.
Bad offense, bad offense. I think you're looking at the Lakers with 78 points with a minute left, and you're finding out great defense.
7-point lead is now 1. Bryant guarded by Prince. Shoots over him. Doesn't drop. A 50-point first half. Bryant puts one up.
Well, I think
Bryant 7 on the 24. Kobe goes all the way. Left game, you go to a guy, Brian Russell, who has played so little over the last 2 months. Bryant drives.
If the Detroit Pistons can score off of turnovers, and he also knows if they get to that number, that the Pistons think that 90 number, that it's very...
Game 2 here Tuesday, and then it's on to Detroit for 3. O'Neal, foul. In the first half. Payton into Malone. Into Shaq, and Shaq puts it in. Well, that was a 16-footer.
Yeah.
O'Neal, slam dunk. 8.5 left. They work inside again to O'Neal, and Shaq banks it in. So tied for the fewest points allowed in the league this year. The Lakers are able to get by San Antonio, but now in jeopardy of losing game 1 to the Pistons. Shaquille got free enough. 77-68, a little over 4 to play.
Look at this, one-on-one coverage.
Over Ben Wallace.
Yeah, they're going to live with that. But they're going to...
The game the other night, we were crushed. That was in an emotional sense. As Shaquille O'Neal misses his first.
He said Kobe's shot is not what beat us. The fact that we did not do all 3 of those things, that's what lost the game for us. And he looked at me and he said...
And now, like I said in the opening, I didn't think it would bother them as much as people thought.
As that's how they win. That's how they won a lot during the regular season. That's why they're here, and that's why right now they have a chance to go up 2 games to 1. You are the new king of contradiction, Doc. And O'Neal starters now, the same guys that started the game earlier. And we mentioned before the Pistons starters is Wallace.
Than the Lakers, and they can take them off the dribble at any time.
O'Neal lost the ball.
Get long rebounds and push the ball up the floor.
Inside to O'Neal, and Shaq with a jam.
Is a guy blowing by Gary Payton.
Shaquille gets it.
No double team again. You know, Larry Brown does not like the double team.
Balikan muna natin na sandali ang Game 1. Los Angeles, we predicted that they would come back in a big way dito sa Game 4.
Payton works to O'Neal, turned around, goes in. So the same guys that started the first half start the second, and O'Neal starts. O'Neal. And Payton and Malone still scoreless. 0 for 7 from the field between them. For Shaq, it's a different story. He dishes it off to Malone. 5 on the shot clock. Here's O'Neal. He'll take it up. Yeah, that's an interesting point because Wallace played only 8 minutes.
Getting wide open shots like they had in the first half. They're so used to the Eastern Conference basketball where every shot was contested. They have to get used again that they do have time to...
Even here tonight, and he'll miss game 3 because he has to go to that draft camp in Chicago.
And John Hammond and Joe Dumars will be there tomorrow. He has set the entire first half for the most part.
10 minutes total for him. O'Neal. And then Wallace is there. The Wallace will be in Auburn Hills, Michigan, Thursday. That's game 3. Sunday night is game 4.
Or you can see the triangle with this view because of the view and how much spacing that the...
Ticking down to 4 minutes left in the period. 6-point LA lead.
Wow.
Shaq inside. Dishes it to O'Neal, and will that be an offensive foul?
Wallace off the block will be missed this evening.
Right
too deep.
To O'Neal. Who the MVP is? Larry Brown finally wins an NBA title in his 21st season. 187 Detroit. Stick around.
Shaquille O'Neal in the starting lineup. He hit his first attempt. You see they collapse on O'Neal, and here is Wade.
Dwayne Wade on Billups. He didn't like that matchup with Prince. Prince scored over him early. He's gone back to the
Prince. There's Wade met by Prince. Pulls up. Rebound.
Those are the toughest shots to make when you don't use the backboard.
And a nice feed from Arroyo, whose play I think is very important in this series. If he can come in and give this team a little lift for 5 or 6 minutes, he'll really help Detroit.
3-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Wade forcing. Dwayne Wade just 2 of 8 from the field. Being played by Tayshaun Prince. Now Hamilton switched off. Wade with some room, but cannot hit.
And Dwayne Wade's seen 4 different players here early in the game, and everybody gives him a different look. Now it's Wade, now it's Hamilton. He's seen Billups, he's seen Lindsey Hunter. 2 of 10 from the pass, and then knocking down that 3. 6 of 8 tonight. Rasheed Wallace has been terrific.
Wade with a nice move on Prince. Wade with the hesitation move. Back comes Miami. Damon Jones not able to get loose. Wade on the step back. Morning. Shaquille O'Neal throws it back out. Wade. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Wade has to fire by Leitner.
Leitner's giving him some nice minutes tonight.
Wade finding the opening.
Go in there to him, let him kick it out, and then repost deeper. That's what he's done so well throughout his career.
Wade, yes, have a good look.
Days off. He said he's still playing in pain, but trying to figure out some way not to jump off of that right calf. But he will not play with that
percent. Where their Achilles heel's been, they're 7 of 14 from the free throw line. They've missed 7 free throws here early in this game.
Wade, yes.
He probably didn't make many friends here in the Detroit area. He tried to clarify it by saying, really, I'm talking about a handful of people. The majority of the fans here are fine. As
now, if he goes left, he likes to step back and shoot it. If he goes right, he wants to go all the way.
Shot clock to 3.
They'll live with that.
Buckets from Damon Jones, Udonis Haslem, and Eddie Jones. That's gravy. I mean, they've been relying on the big fella and Wade, but if they can get everybody else involved, look out.
And Dwayne to a 7-1 run. Miami with only 1 point the last 4 minutes after the hot start to the 3rd. Wade pulls it back on Hunter. Rebounded. The Pistons within 1.
Remember, he hit 2 timely three-pointers in Game 2 to help bring Detroit back, but he's really struggled with that three-point shot throughout the season and the playoffs. But Hunter doing it now at both ends.
Lindsey Hunter going for the steal and could.
Lindsey Hunter is one of the best in the league at picking you. He will watch you, he'll chase you out, and then he's got those long arms. Question here is, was there any possession free throws?
Campbell played 3 minutes in Game 1, 6 minutes in Game 2 after seeing limited action in the 2 previous series. Hunter with the steal. Joe Dumars, the president of basketball operations, often says when we have a run, it's a defensive run. We usually stop the other guys. Wade with 1 on the shot clock is stripped. Here comes Hunter on Wade.
How about Lindsey Hunter? I can't say enough about this guy. I coached him, and I always felt like he was one of the best on-the-ball defenders in the NBA. He's strong. Look at him, quick with his hands, pushes the ball ahead. You look at the stat sheet.
Just under 3 to play in the fourth. Wade to the fade.
Oh,
yes!
my.
Fade.
That's
Here is Wade. Yes. They get to the ball. One of the rare times he's brought it up court, and then he shoots the jumper.
turnovers, posted him up, and he just used his height over Haslam.
Wayne Wade, as you say, looking after it. Yes.
To have it just so he can throw it off when he gets a bad call sometimes.
Our stat staff categorizes headbands worn and not worn.
We'll keep an eye on that throughout the game.
82, and you see pressure by the Pistons. Final seconds of the first quarter. Wade going at Prince, changed his mind. Here's Eddie Jones.
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, he's got it. I mean, he just has that calming influence, not only on his team, but on his own game. Finally.
Sterling and Wade at the guard. O'Neal, Haslam, and Eddie Jones up front. 2 minutes to play in the third. Hunter got his hand on it. It'll be Miami. Damon Jones, Dwayne Wade in the backcourt. Shaquille O'Neal, Udonis Haslam, Eddie Jones up front. He has a starting lineup on the floor. Here is Wade called for the offensive foul. And Wayne pleading with Dick Pavetta. But it is on Wade, and that is number 4.
Poise is going to be the ultimate word here now as we go down the stretch. He did lower his right shoulder. Rip Hamilton went underneath that screen and met him there on the baseline. They did
lead by 1. We've had 10 ties, 6 lead changes. Now Wade with the jumper.
shooters. That's money in the bank, especially late in games.
Wallace leaning on O'Neal. Here's Shaq spinning and scores again. Able to bank it home.
Harv, you can see that Detroit is not teaming Shaq. They're so quick and long-armed that they're going to come back and try to bother him, but they're not committing to a double. And I think
this off just doesn't have great timing in terms of dealing with balls coming off the rim, which we may see come into play. But at the offensive end, he's looked sharp. Hits again. O'Neal has hit his first 4 shots, going up against Elvin Campbell, who he knows well. 20 minutes a game in the postseason, averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds.
And what a great story. I mean, he's maybe one of the classiest men in the NBA. To see him bounce back and play so well.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, you see Ben Wallace trying to play Shaq one-on-one. Look at the size disadvantage for Wallace. And, he can't do anything. He's going to dribble 3 times. At some point, the defense has to come in and help, but nobody on Detroit comes. I think they're so conditioned to saying, all right, we're going to play a one-on-one and not let other people beat us. But
shot clock down to 5. We saw Ben Wallace hit a moment ago. He's 4 of 6 from the field, and a foul on O'Neal trying to clear the path.
Conscious effort to make him more involved with the offense.
He's 5 of 7 from the field. Nice play by Wallace, stripping O'Neal.
Smiled to himself on the way back down, knowing he probably should have made that
one. O'Neal.
And Shaq got together emotionally more than anything else, trying to get this crowd excited because Zoe is such an emotional player.
Here is O'Neal.
Can come in and change the game. He can replace Rasheed Wallace, and they don't skip a beat.
You can bet Chauncey Billups is not going to leave Damon Jones for a three.
O'Neal. Rebound is handled by Rasheed Wallace.
And Wallace playing Shaq one-on-one in the post. You said it, Doug. They are not going to leave three-point shooters right now. Skyrockets. You see Billups comes off the screen and roll. Ball goes to the other side. Easy look for Hamilton.
Shaquille O'Neal, who was overplayed.
This series is a team that wins the boards, wins the game. Right now, Detroit all over both backboards.
Detroit going with the single coverage on Shaquille O'Neal, who's able to hit. Haslam with Eddie Jones and O'Neal up front. You see Hamilton cheating over on Shaq. Now single coverage, and Shaq is able to hit over Ben Wallace. We'll call you a Mike Hogg, but we should point out Doug Collins is having difficulty with his headset, and the microphone is not working as Shaquille O'Neal. Haslam reaching out.
Oh, very interesting, Doug. You talked about this with Larry Brown. You said, since he's been playing so well in the first quarter, do you double him? Larry said, no, I don't want the other guys to get going. Well, as a result, Shaq has really taken advantage. One-on-one with Ben Wallace, too easy.
Is to return to coach the Pistons next season. He will not coach anywhere else, as was reported earlier on the pregame show. Beautiful play by Rasheed. So they'll jump it up.
Well, Rasheed is so crafty as a defender. Watch him back off. He'll back away right there, and that throws Shaq off balance. I think he got away with a travel, and instead Wallace forces the jump ball.
Job off the bench, providing a great deal of energy from the regular season right through the postseason. O'Neal with the drop step. Took a poke on that dislocated finger on the left hand.
Look how deep Shaq is catching that ball, though he's one dribble away. At that time, he's knocked loose nicely by Rasheed Wallace.
Back in. Damon Jones now at the point as Dwayne Wade is getting arrested. Here's O'Neal. Called for a traveling violation. They pulled the chair and he lost his balance.
Well, I see Rick Mahorn over on the scores table smiling. He was the king of pulling the chair. And you see Shaq just loses his balance. Ricky Mahorn over there smiling. This is the guy who mastered this. Did that little
problems at the foul line. O'Neal played by Campbell. Shaq very quiet. O'Neal guarded by Rasheed Wallace. And the foul is called on Rasheed.
Play against Shaq. I mean, this guy, when he leans up against you, he's got to have Rasheed by about 70 pounds. What happens? They called Rasheed for grabbing his left arm, and then Shaq bowled him over at the end of the play. I would like to look up and be laying up and say, yeah, that foul was on you.
Opening up at the point as O'Neal gets position on Wallace. Shaq backs his way. Here is O'Neal, and again he hits his first shot attempt.
Well, it wasn't really a double. It was more just kind of a dig down, and as
backing the last two games. Once again, it's O'Neal against Ben Wallace, and single coverage. So Shaq just banks it home.
He's just too big.
By Jones.
Well, Doug, you talked about this. Are they going to double team Shaq or not? So far, no. Look at the left arm. He clears Wallace out a little bit. And then, as you said, he's just too big. The reason Larry Brown doesn't want to double, he doesn't want guys like Damon Jones, Eddie Jones, the role players to get going early.
Rasheed Wallace.
It looks like he's just trying to find his way in this game.
Shaq has been able to get off early in every game. He does right here for the first basket of the night.
I thought in Game 6 we saw a quick double team from Detroit early. Looks like they're going to let Wallace play Shaq one-on-one here to start.
Detroit, Prince got off to the slow start, but came on strong. Here is Shaq.
Over there, and you can't get the ball in.
He's Shaq feeling for Ben Wallace, and then Wallace went down as he was pushed by O'Neal. So
well, Shaquille O'Neal, Marv, you said, off to his best first quarter start tonight, 10 points, 5 of 6. And you can see this is updated now. Through the first quarter of this series, he scored 54 points. And the rest of the game, only 73. That's what I was talking about earlier. This cannot be one of those games where he has a drop-off in the second, third, and fourth quarters. They're going to need him throughout. He's getting a rest now.
Eddie Jones, Shaquille O'Neal, Udonis Haslem up front. Shaq has done it when there has been single coverage. Shaq with a jump hook, rebounded by. Foul is called. It is on O'Neal as he became entangled.
Got a major strength advantage over Jones.
Pistons lead by 5. Good play by Ben Wallace. Got
to take advantage of him at the other side offensively. Put him in some screen and rolls.
And let's see what the call is here. A traveling violation. Shaq was hoping for a foul, but it was the old pull the chair maneuver by Rasheed Wallace. Here's that play you were talking about. With the ball, they lead by 2. O'Neal gives it back. Damon Jones with nowhere to go. He got caught in midair. The Detroit Pistons, coming from behind in the final minutes, have defeated the Miami Heat 88-82 in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final. Larry Brown and his Pistons will head to the finals, where they'll meet up with the San Antonio Spurs. Rip Hamilton leading the way with 22.
To tie the game at 2. Tony Parker, Duncan in his 8th year. In all 8 years, he's been all NBA first team, but it's knocked away by Rasheed Wallace.
Side of the floor. That is a major key in their defensive philosophy.
Duncan, 4 on the shot clock. Rasheed Wallace with
team in this league, and then they backed it up with Wallace, McDyess, and Wallace with the shot blocking.
Ginobili, who played on the gold medal winning Argentinian basketball team, and that's knocked away with 7 straight points for the defending champions. Duncan rolls through the lane, puts it up and in.
Hey, the double team came late. Detroit tries to play you man-to-man in the post area so that they stay and take away your three-point shooting. But indeed, and Duncan admitted to us yesterday that is a problem for him when you guard Rasheed Wallace because of his length. And you can see they're going to Rasheed early to establish the low post game.
7.5 left in the period. Ginobili has it swatted away. Wallace created that steal as it for San Antonio. Early second quarter. Devin Brown is in the game, 23 for the first time. He's rarely played over the last 6 weeks with a back injury, and Duncan has it contested by Rasheed Wallace.
They're late. They're not getting them before they get in the lane. Bouncing off of a staggered screen. That is 2 screens on the baseline, wide open.
Duncan working on Rasheed Wallace. Wallace got a hand on it and then gets an arm on it.
Yeah, that was a tough play for Detroit. They got the first move.
4 of their starters have combined for no points. 33 all. Spurs trying to take their first lead since 2-0. Ginobili can't do it.
He's been out there the entire time, and he's working so hard that he's getting great looks. Just be happy with the looks, because he's going to put the ball in the basket.
Duncan.
Dice on a pass where he is only going to be 8 to 10 feet from the basket. You miss that steal, he's scoring.
Parker bouncing it back to Duncan. Tim missing. Rebounds. They go with his 15 points.
5 at the offensive end. He's constantly working. Rasheed Wallace has got to keep him off the glass.
Duncan, 2 sore ankles, but he's at 8 days to rest.
Nice block.
Rasheed Wallace.
Now just keep an eye down in here. See, they do not need a double team on Duncan with Rasheed. Rasheed is an outstanding defender.
Extended shots. We have not seen that in this first half.
Rainer Udrich with his Ginobili imitation out to Duncan. It's so evident that's his third foul.
Go asleep. Rasheed Wallace must attack Tim Duncan down in the low post area and up one. Unfortunately, they've had too many turnovers.
Duncan and when Duncan.
Now, that's one of the very few that you have seen in 3 games plus less than.
You can do when you're 21.
Oh, quick move.
Duncan.
No double team.
Duncan one-on-one with Wallace. And
he thought that he got hit. The interesting part so far, we have not played 5 minutes. Every time that Duncan catches the ball, it's one-on-one coverage. They're staying on home on the perimeter, especially Ginobili and Parker.
And that's been the case through the games here in the thigh early in game 3. Everybody's saying he's fine, but you tell me. Here's Duncan putting it. Torrey inside. Duncan from the lane.
Here's what it is. Still, that's fairly revealing for Duncan. He rarely, if ever, admits to anything bothering him. We'll watch to see how he progresses here in the 4th.
Good point, and there's a foul here. You know, he
was up there. He had a piece of it.
Torrey to Bowen. Now to Duncan inside. Guarded by Ben Wallace. Has it batted away. Gets it back. Rebound. Ben had it. 4 for 4 since is Tayshaun Prince. Ginobili gets it to Duncan. You've got 5 on the clock. Off the glass, no good. Duncan through the lane. Ben Wallace. And then Duncan. Lindsey Hunter is in 3 guards in the lineup now for Detroit. And Tim Duncan turns around. Duncan in low. Gets the back. Would-be turnover there. And then right here with Wallace and 5 fouls.
Брент Берри вышел на замену и... Потеря защитников в финальной серии. 3,5 в среднем защитника Детройта, 6,8 Сан-Антонио. Да. Полные бередящих сердце событий. Данкан. Сначала Уоллес спалил на нем. Который мягко делал то, что умеет, и показывал, что...
And it's Duncan. 5 on the shot clock. Spins underneath and it's swung.
Ах, как сейчас жалеет аудитория в Детройте, что вот нельзя в одну арену вместить. Он должен представить всю команду Pistons в майках сборной Dream Team на Олимпиаде. Тогда он сможет в одиночку переиграть эту команду. Вот с этой точки. Давайте посмотрим, может быть, сейчас. Да-да-да, вот похожий бросок. Да, вот на этот.
Select the ball with the clock. You're down inside 8 seconds now on the steady.
Duncan off the glass. Torrey. Ginobili comes out to get it. Duncan now. Works on McKnight. Goes all the way. Can't get it to drop off the glass.
Seven. Is he doing a job?
Duncan now. Tim Duncan. Banks.
Антонио. Бен Уоллес против Тима Данкана. Девятый подбор Тима Данкана. Запутывают в 3-секундной зоне соперника Берри с Тимоти. Накрывает. Паркер, Джинобили, Мухаммед, Ори. Единственный игрок не стартовой пятерки и Тим Данкан. Брюса. Пока очень полезны цифры Чонси Биллопса. Удар сверху. Мори получает мяч. Данкан против Макдайеса. Задача Пистонс была не дать бросить Данкану сегодня. Лучше пока не палить. Можно попробовать вынудить самому потерять мяч Паркера. Данкан против Уоллеса. И Джинобили. Тут...
Depart. Popovich and Ginobili. Tim Duncan. Larry looking for Tim Duncan.
Он теперь будет отвечать за Леброна Джеймса. Ну что ж, со свежими силами помотает еще нервишки. Вот, пожалуйста, язык на плечо. Даже не добрасывает до кольца.
Рип Хэмилтон дает ему, то ли дают ему отдохнуть, то ли недоволен Флип Саундерс его защитой. Но, скорее всего, первое. 7 секунд до конца владения. Поперечная передача. И опять под кольцом. Мне кажется, злоупотребляют дриблингом и движением.
Just ran a back screen on LeBron, and that gives him a one-on-one from the side. Oh, Greg's just took his man in.
Tough shot from James.
for Wade. Walker looking. Wade inside O'Neal. And they let O'Neal put it in. It's back to a 6-point game.
And then if you get the pass, well, then naturally he's a high percentage dunker.
Wallace saying something as he passed Flip Saunders there, obviously disgusted with his second foul. That one he couldn't argue though. Wade! Dwayne Wade soaring! And the Heat go up by 5.
Yeah, no rotation there at all. A banana takes a lot of pressure off, but what you have to do now is you have to be an aggressive guy. And he knew that he was going to go strong tonight, and I like how his results.
That jumper from Wade, that's the one pass. Not many second shot opportunities.
No, and we're not seeing it either end. The teams are doing an excellent job taking care of the defensive rebound.
Wade! Oh. Beautiful move from Dwayne Wade.
Well, one of the main stats that is not being put out there a lot is the fact that in this series, the Detroit Pistons only have 2 shot blocks. Elevates against the zone. The zone did its job, but then Shaq negated it with that low percentage shot. They're in a 2-3 zone now. I see that's smart. You go up high. All right, you go up high, you immediately have an open area.
Wade finding an open area inside, drives hard, draws the foul. Oh! Wade puts it in!
Wow. What a great shot. And you could see the defender step right underneath him. So it is a terrific move. Now watch how he splits the seam of the zone. All right, and then he comes right up. They're saying moving underneath on the shot. And then the finish. How about the finish? A flip back with the English on the spin of the ball.
That's the second time he's gone down hard on his back. The ability to get off just a quality shot, let alone put it in. And a chance for a 3-point play. That's it.
So that if he's going to dunk it, you still have a chance with both hands to change the arc or the release of the ball.
Wade flips it in. But again, a different defense for Detroit. In the first 4 games, the Pistons had 8 total block shots.
Right now, they're in a zone. It's like a 2-3 zone right now for the Pistons.
Wade fires away, knocks it down.
Have the 2-1 advantage in this best of 7. Let's get back out to Mike Breen and Hubie Brown.
A little frustrated right now with the way they're playing. Here's just one of a number of comments Ben Wallace quoted as saying, I think we look for our offense more than our defense now. We spend the majority of our time working on our offense, and it definitely shows up. There have been some particular comments concerning Flip Saunders, the head coach. And, you know, Hubie, this is the same group, the players that praised Saunders all season long for the freedom he gave them. They won 64 games in the regular season, a franchise record. A number of these players had career years, including making their first All-Star team, as Haslam gets it in inside and is fouled. So it's just, you never want this, especially at this time of year. Even though the Pistons players say, hey, everything is fine, you never want at this time of year to have public comments questioning each other.
Well, first of all, it's disappointing for the coaching staff, disappointing for management and fans. Because, let's face it, you're working on your offense now.
The 2005-2006 season began with a new head coach and a new philosophy. Flip Saunders stressed offense, and the Pistons responded with the best record in the league. But entering the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Heat, Detroit was showing cracks in its armor.
Wade finding an open area inside, drives hard, draws the foul. Oh! Wade puts it in!
Miami had the Pistons on the ropes, and in Game 6, Flip Saunders made a decision that Ben Wallace will never forget. Looking for more offensive firepower, Wallace was benched for the last 12 minutes of the game.
Watching those guys out there trying to get it done, and I'm on the bench watching, you know, it's a sickening feeling. There's a lot of things that's going through your mind. You take on a lot of different emotions at that point in time, and you know, it's just a sense of emptiness, man.
It's going to be a very disappointing ending to what many thought was going to be a championship. They were destined.
I start to ponder whether I can, you know, still help this team. Whether this team is better off without me.
Everything happened so fast. I think the Bulls, a great organization, a young up-and-coming team, and they made me an offer that I, pretty much couldn't refuse.
If money was equal, Ben, or close, would you have stayed?
Without a question. In order for me to leave Detroit, it had to be, it had to be under these circumstances. Anything else, I wouldn't even consider.
There's still the feeling out there that part of this is because of your relationship with Flip, that you didn't really want to come back and play for him.
Not at all, man. I mean, I think my relationship with Flip is pretty good. Since I've been here, every other year or every 2 years, we've been having different coaches. So how can I get along with 4, 5, 6 different coaches and can't get along with Flip?
Weeks ago.
Well, and also too, Marv, I think, look, the first couple rounds, the Detroit guards, as we see a nice drive.
James made his return, shot clock to 5, and here's James, tips it home for the Pistons. 8 of the 10 scored by Hamilton. James to the crossover. Seal defending on James. LeBron with the step back. Down to 10. James with the step. On the floor, along with Ilgauskas, Pavlovich, Marshall, and James. Here's LeBron. Here's James. 3 minutes to go in overtime. James led by the double. Shot clock to 5. Here's LeBron, and he is fouled. Gets it into Varejao. Phillips went down, and Flip Saunders looking for a pushing foul on James. Here's LeBron flipping it up. Single coverage with Phillips on James. Working it down. 5 seconds. 4, 3. James scores.